would the easiest way be to, like, let's say the day that you get your period, you write that down as like day number one,
Yeah.
and then kind of just take it maybe a little note each day of like how you're feeling, and then once you let's say take a note every day, and then you get to the point where you feel that kind of little increase in temperature, then you could know that, like, okay, roughly when it's 16 days in, I'm kind of at the middle of my cycle. So could you do something like that where you do maybe one cycle to map it out, and then the next cycle could be like, okay, now I know kind of when
That's
happen.
that's perfect. That is absolutely ideal. So I would definitely do something like that. So day one of your cycle is the first day of a real bleed. So if you have spotting and today and tomorrow you get a heavy bleed, tomorrow is actually day one. So yes, so I would map how am I feeling. Estrogen is the hormone that gives us energy. We become very creative. So you'll find that creativity and that energy growing in a woman in that first 2 weeks of their cycle, if we're taking the 28 days as the norm. And and as estrogen peaks, which it does, estrogen will start to peak. You become very interested in your partner if there is a partner. Um, you can be really creative. You're full of energy. These are some of the signs we need to look for. So how what is my body saying to me? And then the temperature rise as well. Um, you can do the basal body temperature charting, which is testing your temperature every morning. Now, key here is not to move when you're doing it, because the minute you sit up in bed, your core temperature will rise. So I would say if you're temperature testing, have your temperature gauge next to you, and one hand and test. That's literally it, without moving. And for some women, that increase in temperature mightn't be as evident. So the main things then would be looking for those mood changes and the changes in the cervical mucus. And if there's no cervical mucus, you see, then that's an issue within itself. So cervical mucus would be the main thing I would be saying for women to start get to know, start to understand your cervical mucus. It will disappear pretty much after ovulation. So when you see it come, you're like, oh gosh, some women will never have noticed it. But once you notice it once, you'll always notice it. And then you can see it change. And as I say, when it gets to that really see-through egg white, uncooked egg white, then this is you're within your fertile window. And for the past couple of days, you've been within your fertile window as well.
Amazing. Yeah, that's it's really good information to have, because it's like it's so empowering. Then when you know what to do, it's like you have a bit of a plan, and then it's like you don't have to guess, or the uncertainty that comes along with not having awareness of kind of how your body works
Absolutely.
and why. And so yeah, that's amazing. And when it comes to, like, let's say going down the IVF route, like you said, with your experience, like you weren't really sure of what was expected of you, or what maybe you had to do and things like that. So like now that you've been through your own journey and obviously have so many people